Marketing expert Seth Godin stresses that you have to have a tribe if you want to be a successful company or an expert. By the way, if you don't read Seth Godin's blog every day or get his newsletter, do so right now. It's wealthy information. It's a source of so much good insight for anyone who wants to be an expert. You should also read all of his books, by the way. So what Seth talks about is you need a tribe. People who are a part of a community who care passionately about your niche and that also look to you for expertise. And you need to make it easy for them to reach that. Now, his blog is a little bit different in that he doesn't allow comments. I mean, that breaks the rules that most other gurus talk about. All things being equal, I would recommend you make it easy for people to comment and exchange ideas with you. Until you're so in demand, like Seth Godin, you already have 10 New York Times bestsellers behind you, then maybe you taper it off. But here's the thing about the tribe. There are no shortcuts. All the gimmicks out there. I mean, you'll get emails all the time for people saying, we can get you 500,000 Twitter followers, like that. Well, what good is that? It's a complete, utter waste of time. The value of having 500,000 Twitter followers is if you actually have 500,000 people who read your stuff, retweet it, value your insights, and when you occasionally ask them to come to one of your seminars or speeches or buy a book, they do it. There's real value to 500,000 followers there. But you're not going to get, no company can get that for you. You're going to have to earn that the old-fashioned way by creating great content, being a part of a community, sharing other people's content that's of value to your particular followers. Here's the thing. I would rather have 50 followers on Twitter, for example, who are decision makers, heads of corporate training offices, CEOs of major companies, than have 5 million followers on Twitter who aren't people like that, who don't really care about my stuff, but somehow just landed up as a Twitter follower. So it's never just about the quantity. If you need a tribe of people who care about your stuff. And that's the problem many people have with all these new social media toys. Oh, I got 50 million Facebook friends or followers because I gave them this bribe or whatever, or I tricked them or seduced them into clicking like. Doesn't really do you any good. You can self-publish a book, an ebook, and click that you're buying it 1,000 times in 1 hour and make yourself a bestseller. It doesn't really help. Doesn't really generate more people who are caring about your stuff. So this is the hard part to do for most people, because if you don't really have interesting insights, it's harder to build a tribe. If you're not giving some added value to what people can see every place else, it is harder to build a tribe. And this is where I don't want to offend anyone, and I don't want to sound elitist or condescending, but this is pretty hard to do if you're not smart. And I don't mean you have to have an advanced degree from MIT or Harvard or have the highest IQ. But you can't just read 2 books on a subject and then sort of spout or regurgitate a couple of cliches from that and build a following. You have to be seen as someone who generates something new, has a new twist, a new way of looking at it, even if it's not the most brilliant ideas in the world. If you want a great example of someone who is a wildly successful expert, look at sales training expert Jeffrey Gitomer. Look at his books. Now, I know Jeffrey. I've been to his compound, and I know that he practices what he preaches. He says write every day. He writes every day. He says read every day on your subject matter. I've seen his library. He has every sales book ever written, and they're all in his library. He knows that niche cold. He's thinking of new things every day. He's coming up with new content. There's always a new book. There's always a new video. And he makes a lot of money giving speeches, but also workshops, webinars, online training. He's making money from all those things, but what's starting it is true passion for sales expertise and learning everything about it, seeing what everyone else does, coming up with his own twist, and he's quite creative. I mean, just look at the artwork and some of it. Look at the design of his books, and you can see real creativity there. But is it because Jeffrey has the fanciest degrees from the fanciest universities? No. Is it because he's the best looking, the most charming person? I think he would admit, that's not why he succeeds. He succeeds because he creates more content than anyone else in sales. He doesn't let anyone know something or read something about sales that he hasn't read first. Nobody's more passionate about his subject matter. And when he's speaking, nobody's more passionate. Because of that, he has a huge tribe. Now, when he got started more than 20 years ago, he had a column in a weekly business newspaper that was soon syndicated around the country. And this was before the internet was around. So he built a huge tribe at a time when newspaper columns were really dominant. Times are different now, but he already has his huge tribe. He's got his tribe. How are you going to find your tribe? It might be because you're just so great at a podcast, and audio is your medium. You can't be all things to all people. You can't be a one-person expert without a huge staff and try to be really, really, really active in the top 10 social media outlets, Pinterest and Instagram and YouTube. And I just don't see anyone who can really do that. Maybe Gary Vaynerchuk is the exception. My recommendation is figure out what is the one medium that really suits your talents, your interests, your strengths the best, and try to really build a community around that. And then use the others as distribution channels. Now, social media experts would say, no, you have to use every single social media outlet in the unique intended way they do it. I just don't find one-person experts can do that. I know I can't. So, for example, I focus primarily on my YouTube channel. Anyone who comments on any video on my YouTube channel, I like their comment unless they're saying something nasty about me. I thank them for coming by. I respond to their comment. Anyone who asks me a question about speaking on my YouTube channel, I'll create a video just for them and I'll mention them by name. I also create new content for my YouTube channel pretty much every day, certainly on average more than 5 videos a week, and there have been plenty of weeks when I'm averaging more than 20 videos a week. So I'm caring for that particular distribution channel video. I picked that in part because since I'm a speaking expert, it's the only social media forum that really lends itself to speaking, because you can see me speaking. So that's why I picked that. If your particular niche is, say, negotiation, you may want to focus just on your blog post and then repackaging that blog post on the Huffington Post and other major outlets too. There's no one way of doing it, but there is one way of failing, and that's just throwing content here, 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 trying to be all things and all people, and not engaging people, and not building a tribe, and not really building followers. So if you look at my Pinterest page, I'm doing all the wrong things because I'm not engaging people. I'm really just using that as distribution for my video. But if you look at my YouTube channel, you'll see I have millions and millions of views. Anyone who comments, I comment back. Anyone who asks a question, I'll respond. And it says that in every one of my videos. It says it on the homepage of my channel. If you have a question about public speaking or media training, I will answer your question right here. And I found that that works well with my time frame. I can quickly do 1, 2, 3, even 5 videos in less time it takes to write, rewrite, edit, polish up a nice blog post. So it's something that works with my talents too. Although I have written, at this point, 8 books, so I can write too, but I've decided to focus on video. I would ask you, figure out what medium works well for you and focus on that. And which one do you want to be a community, a part of a community? The Twitter, the people who do it best are constantly retweeting other people. They're constantly commenting on other people's stuff. They're praising other people. They're not just using it as a push distribution channel. But at some point, you do have to create good content. Otherwise, you're just a member of the crowd. So that's my challenge to you. How are you going to find a tribe of people that will pick you as their leader or will let you lead them some of the time? What is your tribe? For me, there is a tribe of people out there who care about public speaking, speaking to the media, and they watch all of my videos. Now, it's not a crowd of millions. It's not a crowd even of thousands. But there are a few hundred people out there who will open up my newsletter, even though I send it out to 10,000. But there are hundreds of people who will read my newsletter every week and watch the videos in that. And that's the basis of my business. I don't have to have millions of people. I don't have to have a blog with 5 million views every day like a Seth Godin. It'd be nice if I did. You've got to figure out what is the place where you can find a tribe. So that's your homework assignment. Write down where you think your tribe is, how you're going to get them, and how you're going to interact with them, and what specifically is it? Is it your own blog? Is it you writing a blog for Huffington Post or Forbes? How are you going to find your tribe?